Welcome to 188. We're doing the Divine Masculine reading. Divine Feminine reading is uploading as I speak. Very interesting perspective. So definitely feel like the psychology of it all is being explored a bit more. The next level of the deeper work is occurring. Seeing greater insight as to what has to be delved into, what has to be left behind, or more so what we're going to be working on next. Some of you may be working on, rather. Virility, shake it up a little. You've got this. So the energy from this is coming up as, especially from what's coming up in the Divine Feminine reading today. There's certain patterns that we've got used to, and they become habit. And they become habits regardless of if they're good for us or not. Even if we know that they're not necessarily good for us, we've allowed it to become a certain particular kind of habit. So as we are moving away from those habits, or we're resolving the why they have been created as a habit anyway, certain aspects of the Divine Masculine energies now are coming in with a need to move things along. But as this says, it's kind of a knowing that you can move it along and doing it in a very compassionate manner, because some of the realizations that are coming up, some of the information that's coming up, some of the truth that's coming up is not exactly the easiest to swallow. But the thing is that Divine Feminine is literally in that space now of, thankfully, it's actually happening now. Thankfully, we have access to this awareness now. Thankfully, we have access to this realization. Thankfully, we are able to see where we can make these changes. Thankfully, we have the courage and the strength to make these changes. So, although it's going to be fast, it's not going to be the easiest. And at the same time, even though it's not the easiest, it doesn't mean it's not going to be beneficial, and it's not going to be highly appreciated on some level. Right. Some things are going to come to a really, really quick close. This was feeling like the speed was increasing, and this was like the speed increasing to just end things. That lingering that's been happening, that drawing things out or dragging things out longer than they needed to be, is definitely coming to a close. There's a certain level within self now. Definitely come up in the feminine reading. It's definitely coming up in this reading too. There's only so far you can take a lie. There's only so far you can take intolerance. There's only so far you can take being patient with someone. There's only so many times you can explain certain things over and over again. There's only so long that you can wait for people to do those things that they've been saying they're going to do. There's only so long you can wait for people to change if they're not going to and they don't want to. There's only so long you can delude yourself, or there's only so long that you can keep that illusion intact. Things are crumbling in a great way, so that anything that was built on a false foundation, anything that's built from a lie or illusion or a delusion or a manipulation of the truth, is just going to be falling away more so and more so. The more you're evolving, the more you're embracing the higher energies of your emotional intelligence, the more the rest of it just seems so futile and irrelevant. It's like, why have I wasted so much time on this, that and the other, and why did I just keep banging my head against that wall and expecting them to change, expecting them to do this when they're not? It's got to the point now that even that part of the conversation seems futile. Even that part of the conversation now is just a given, that this ain't working, so now what? That ain't working, so now what? You're not doing what you said you were going to do, so now what? They haven't changed, so now what? It's not even a matter of why this, why that. Is now what? Moving on, literally moving on. Shake it up a little. You've got this. You've done the compassionate part for a lot of it. You've done the but it's still going to ask for, as you're moving on now, there's going to be again, which is kind of natural in some ways. Some of you, from where you're moving away from and on from, there are going to be some possible last tugs and pulls and pushes and jostling and things like that, because if you are now not willing to sustain the foundation of that lie or that illusion, it's going to crumble. Some people have been relying on those lies and illusions a lot longer, and in many ways that you're not even able to comprehend right now, because it's not for you to comprehend. Some of those lies have been going on before you were even born. Page serpents. So being attentive to those things that are crumbling. The things that are left will be left. So having some faith and trust. Interesting perspective of this card today. So having some faith and trust that whatever is of high value, whatever is of use and of significant value to yourself will remain. So it's a matter of being quite ruthless, like it says here, shake it up a little. You've got these. It's being quite ruthless with it, and just being really adamant with the faith and trust in the process and going for it. And whatever is meant for you will be there still. It will it'll illuminate even stronger, actually, because the truth that is coming up will make sure that the residue and the debris from the lies will just basically fall away, as long as you allow it to. If you're holding on to things, if you're the one that's holding on to lies or holding on to illusions or the concoctions of certain dynamics, if you're holding on to those, you're the one that's going to be kind of being dragged a little bit. But for the most part, it feels like you're the one that's not going to be dragged, and you're going to have people try to hold you back, hold you down, hold you stuck in that. No, I didn't do that. No, I didn't do this. I didn't say that. I didn't say I'm going to do it at this time. I didn't say I'm going to do it in that way. Well, you did actually, and I know you did, and I've clarified it in my head. And all those times that you may have been led to feel or believe that you weren't remembering things correctly, or you weren't seeing things correctly, or you weren't interpreting things correctly, all of those illusions also release, let go. Queen of Cups coming in. Queen of Cups came in with the Divine Feminine reading too, literally ushering in that love, that self-love, that self-compassion, knowing that things aren't going to be easy at first, and things do have to get a bit rough and tumbly before they get a bit easier. But the Queen of Cups coming in, really showing that dedication of let everything come through love. When you're slathering love and sprinkling love and patting it with love, everything with love, and then you know, and you'll see where the intrusions are, whatever that means. Intrusion. Who's intruding? So then your defences will change. Right, so I'm still looking at defences. I'm still reading around defences, and it's getting more and more interesting, because there's defence mechanisms, but then there's defences used in ways that we don't actually recognise, like how when we put in someone on a pedestal, what is that and how is that as a defence mechanism? If it's being used as a defence mechanism, it can be quite underhand. So, and I'm not saying you're being underhand, I'm saying it means that if you put them on a certain pedestal, or you put them on a certain idealisation in that kind of space, anything around it, then you kind of just discount, you swat it away, and then on some level, short term, yes, you keep that relationship in a healthy, quote unquote, space, or a perceived healthy space, and you don't have that conflict come up. But now it's asking, like, shake it up a little. You've got these, is asking to let go of that idealisation, let go of that plastic, faulty thinking, because now you've got the Page of Coins and the Page of Wands. New actions are required, new ways of putting forward, new ways of giving, new ways of offering things are coming forward. And this shift and change is going to be very fast. So if you're still in contact with the people that are linked to the illusion, linked to the delusion, and you switch really fast, it's not that you want to, it's not that you can't. It's just that is the way it's going to be now. It's going to literally be, because once you've thought something, once you've realised something, you can't unthink it. You can't understand it. You're going to start understanding things in a particular way, which when you're being authentic with yourself, when you're doing it with love, and then you see where those things have been inauthentic or have been unloving or disingenuous kind of thing, then you're going to be able, you can't go back to the way it was. So this is a definite significant split and evidence of that split. You can't go back to where you were. You can't go back to not knowing about what you know about now. Doesn't mean you can't unlearn bad habits. It doesn't mean you can't unlearn the habits that you got into. Again, once you come out of those negative habits, you come out of those habits of putting someone in a idealized space or putting someone on a pedestal. Once you come out of those patterns, out of those habits, and you brought them down off the pedestal, you take them out of the space of being idealized, you won't be able to go back to how it was. You can't just stick them back on the pedestal because the truth won't let you. There you go. 9 of Wands. Mastering this. Every time I see these, I see the manga one. I see the manga deck when she's balancing on the 9 of Wands. I'm seeing it again. So literally, as you're doing this, you're going to be mastering certain aspects of how you behave with others. You're going to be changing how you interact with others. You're going to be changing how you communicate. The communication at some point may have been a moment of or moments of, or a momentum of, just get through the moment, just say what they need to hear and let's be done with it. That's not going to fit anymore for a lot of you. It's not going to work. So this 7 of Wands, I keep seeing the manga 9 of Wands. So this 7 of Wands is coming up, but it's coming up as a 9 of Wands. So the flashing of that card. So basically, this conflict or this we've got a 6 here. Go through the conflict. So I'm seeing the 7 as the 9. And I'm not seeing it as this 9. I'm seeing it as a manga 9. I've got to get that deck again because it's such a gorgeous deck. 6 of Wands. So if you avoid this conflict, it's going to be ongoing. But the thing is, you can't avoid it anymore. Like I just said, is once you've seen something, once you've heard something, once you've thought something, you can't unthink, unsee those things. So this is where it's going to go from 9, mastering something, and as you're mastering it, the movement's going to be quite fast and quick. You've got lots of wands here. Being active in it, being proactive in it, being substantially invested in this process. So then as you're going through it, you are going to be dealing with some conflict. It could be internal conflict, it could be external conflict. It could be that you've put someone on a pedestal for so long, or you've had a certain perspective of them for so long, you've communicated with them for so long, you've let them get away with certain things for so long, that you this shift that's going to happen, it's going to bring up like, whoa, like what's happened to you? You never used to be like this. No, I didn't, because blah blah blah. You might not even have to explain it. Like I said before, it's a matter of, I said this, you said you were going to do that, you didn't do it, therefore I'm done with it, that's it. There's no further explanation as to this, that and the other. They will have to figure that out themselves, or they will understand that they've been rumbled. 6 of Wands coming in there. So just being really diligent, being really slick and efficient and effective with your information, with what you're communicating out, and what you're giving out. How are you investing time, energy and effort into this again? Because before you may have been spending that time to explain things, or be a bit more patient with, like, right, well, this, you said you were going to do this, you didn't do this, and so that means I have to do this, and blah blah blah, blee blee blee, and you're letting go of all of that, because then that was where they would get you tangled back in again. That is when they would start making these excuses up again, or they'd start giving explanations that you'd be like, I want to trust this person, therefore I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt again. You're cutting that out. You're removing that as an option. They're not going to be okay with that. Therefore, not surprised if conflict comes up. Keep going with it. Keep going with your new style. Keep going with the style that you know that you wanted to be with, in, as before, because straight away you know I'm only giving so much, and then straight away you know I'm only doing so much. If you can't come forward, which you've shown you can't, therefore your time's up. The victory you're going to have from that is, I can't even explain the energy right now. It's just literally expanding before my very heart space. The heart space is expanding because you're showing up for yourself. The heart space is opening up and expanding because you are finally putting your foot down and protecting yourself, protecting your time, protecting your worth, protecting your words, protecting your honour, protecting your dignity, protecting your resources, protecting what it is you are. Again, this comes in with the past, present, future. So it is good, and there's more wands. Like, how many wands? There's so much going to be going on right now. And the configurations and the alignments of the astrology, get your seatbelts on, because it's going to be a fantastic ride. As long as you keep on it and as long as you're going with it, it's going to be great. So much can happen, so much potential for things to happen at such a speed. It's going to be amazing. So this past, present, future, seeing how did I operate before, how am I operating now, how do I want to operate. Don't want it going on for another 2 years. Don't want it going on for another week. Don't want it going on for another day. Don't want it going on for another hour. Therefore, as of now, it stops. Going in it with a different way, offering something different or not at all. Offering something in a different way, moving forward in a different way, moving forward in a way that's more authentic for self. Very, very interesting vibe. So let's get some tattoo cards. So somebody asked me a while back, which cards am I using? I will start putting the names of the decks underneath the videos. It's just there's a lot going on at the moment, again, as usual. So I'm doing the best I can, and I will get the names of the cards and the links in the box below, but I haven't done it yet. Apologies. I do need to get an assistant. Anyway, the world is shifting and changing. Your world is shifting and changing because it can and because it will, because you want it to. You're no longer taking the shenanigans of others as a way of being. You are making sure that you're diligent enough to make sure that you are doing what you need to do, how you need to do it, and there's just no space for that silliness anymore. There's just no space for being manipulated anymore. You're seeing where you let yourself be kept stuck in that. There's no space for it. So this is great. I'm not being so enthused about this card as I am now. You're going to see where it is. You're going to see how you've done it. You're going to see how you can wiggle your shoulders and just get out. All of these things are thoughts that kept you feeling stuck, kept you feeling down, kept you feeling trapped, kept you being in the trajectory of being less of yourself. You're not letting that happen. You won't let that happen anymore. You can use those swords to get yourself out. You will. You'll figure it out. As long as you do your work. Ace of Pentacles coming in because of seeing a new way of the world. Then you're able to identify where you keep yourself stuck in the world. Therefore, from this, the value of what you start realising, the value of where to move forward, how to move forward, is immeasurable. You don't know where this is going to lead to because it's so immense. If you think about all those times you've kept yourself down, or allowed others to keep you down or behind, or repressed, suppressed, limited, restricted, and now all of that is going to start flicking off. The other side of that is amazing. There you go. Knight of Swords. Going forward with a new gusto, going forward with a new sense of passion, a new sense of clarity, a new sense of faith and trust in what you're going towards. That's the main thing about this at the moment, is like having that faith and trust in your process, so you don't go back into those conversations, so you don't get tripped back into, oh, just give me one more chance kind of crap. I was going to say something else then. That was a bit full on. Wow. Okay. Someone's going to come in when you're doing this, and they're going to say, I ain't digging this. I'm not loving this. I want another chance. I want another this. I want another that. You ain't going to give it. If you do give it, look forward to doing this whole rigmarole again. It's got to be cutthroat. It's got to be really ruthless. Like I said, it's got to be ruthless now. You can't let those things slide anymore. There's not time. That time is well gone. It's well gone. Strength. Feminine has 2 strength cards. You're getting strength again. Have that strength in moving forward. Have that strength in going forward in a way that's suitable for you, that's going to be good for you. You can't let this woe is me bring you down. You've already gone through that. You're already locked up in that because people have brought that kind of guilt tripping and stuff like that on you, but you can't keep doing it anymore. Knight of Cups. Keep going, keep going. Love what you're doing. Do what you love. Be who you love and love who you're being. You've got to make sure that you're enjoying your life, you're enjoying the process, because if you're not, then you've got to shift and change it. Everything you shift and change for better. It's going to improve the Ace of Pentacles. It's going to improve the perspective of your life. It's going to let you let go of these even quicker and easier. Conflict. Seven of Wands with the 5 of Wands. It's going to bring in some conflict. I already said that. It's just confirming it again. There will be some conflicts. Not to be scared by that. Not to be intimidated by that. It's now a matter of preparing for that and making sure that you're talking through those conversations by yourself. If a certain conversation has played out in a certain way, how is it going to be different this time? What are you going to say different this time? What are you going to feel differently about this time? Let those new emotions, that fresh perspective, kind of lead the conversation, as opposed to going back around in a circle of being misled and back into being stuck. There you go. So you've got 5 swords. It keeps coming in the same. So basically you've got no choice other than to go forward. Like I said, you can't unthink those new thoughts. You can't see those things you've seen. You can't misunderstand now the things that you understand. So enjoy this. It literally is a massive liberation coming in, and it's going to be even more liberating as we keep doing the work around this, that we keep our strength up, keep encouraging ourselves to go forward, keep the faith and trust in the divine process, and just making sure that we are diligent to not be pulled back into old cycles or old habits. Divine Feminine reading should be up. The January 2024 readings are up, so check those out. I don't know if I put the natal chart link in, but you can look at your natal chart and check all those different aspects out, because everything right now just feels like it's so poignant and prominent that it's all the shifts and configurations are literally ushering in and ushering out significant things. So enjoy that and utilize it to your advantage. So for now, peace and love.